Okay, we should now be live, hopefully. Hopefully everyone in the chat can hear us. If you can, let us know. Welcome, welcome. I don't know how many people are here today because my YouTube in the background's not updating, so that's kind of weird.
It does say live.
We are live. We should be live. Welcome. Today we have a special guest with us. As you can see, Carboot Chris from Cookie and the Hayden channel.
Hello.
So good to have you. And Joe, obviously, is here. I did a little tweak to the screen today, so we have like a little logo filtering through here. So we got Joe's, mine, and Chris's going through there. So that's pretty cool.
I can see that. That does look cool.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. So I did that real quick. Anyway, we asked Chris to come on today to have a little chat back and forth about the whole vintage clothing. I guess it's his own kind of pandemic, really, isn't it? So we got two pandemics going on. We got the corona, and now we've got the vintage clothing pandemic of 2021. Because you've actually just bought a big, I don't know if it was a pallet or a big sack of bag or whatever it came in.
Bag.
Yeah, of clothing.
Yeah, I buy them sporadically. Like, you know, I run them down, get them listed, get a few bits sold, and then I look for the next bag. Yeah, I think the last lot I got was vintage Vera. That was the last bag that I got. I think that cost me about 500 quid. But I have spent more than that in the past. But I've yet to buy a proper bale. I've kind of been avoiding bales because there's a lot of work behind bales. So
yeah.
Been avoiding them, but I am going to plump for a mega bale at some point. It's going to cost about 1,200 quid.
Oof. And that's obviously done on weight. How much weight is that roughly? Is that just for t-shirts or?
That's going to be sports tops, so NBA, NFL, that kind of stuff.
Is that like
kind of, you know, like
jerseys
high-end
and stuff?
sort of high-price stuff? Yeah, jerseys, all jerseys, literally all pro sport American jerseys. But it's probably one of the most expensive bales you can get.
I'll tell you what I have seen on eBay. Somebody, well, I say somebody, it is a company that deals in single individual items. They'll sell in single individual items, but they're selling 300 kilos of vintage clothing for £600 posted.
300 kilos.
300 kilos. I considered it, but then
What's that, like
everybody's jumping in on the vintage clothing. I'm just like, let's smash on with something else while everybody else is concentrating on that.
Was that works out at what, £2 a kilo?
£2.
£2 a kilo, isn't it? I mean, it's mad cheap. It's mad cheap, but you're probably going to have a lot of wastage in that.
Yeah.
But you can take it. You can take the wastage because of the low price.
I wonder if you could recycle the waste into like
what's like the grade of it and stuff like that. What's it advertised as?
Shall I read out the advertisement? I'll tell you what, you guys carry on chatting, I'll find it.
Okay. I was wondering if you could like recycle vintage material into like Etsy stacks of like pillow material or like dress patch material or something. Get rid of it that way if it's like cool designs.
It's funny you mention that, Jay, because somebody commented on my video today saying that when they have waste items that are not quite good enough, you know, a t-shirt with a hole in it or something, they're starting to upcycle them into other things.
Yeah.
You know, use them, like you could cut out, like if it's got a really nice logo on it, you could cut the logo out, sew that onto a standard denim jacket and really make something of it, you know.
Yeah.
I ain't got that skill, but
I was just thinking like you could just, I don't know, cut squares, like cool square patterns out of shirts and or like the logos and the vinyl, whatever they're called, on the fronts and backs or whatever. I'm sure someone would buy like a stack of people on Etsy seem to buy anything. They'll make stuff out of anything. Like I saw someone that was chopping pine cones and making like jewelry out of pine cones and that, and then I went on a big like rabbit hole exploration of YouTube of people telling you how much money you can get for picking up pine cones and selling them on eBay. This guy was getting like, he had a special variant of pine cone tree, and he was getting like £60 a pine cone, and they were like this big. I was like, that's mad.
People sell toilet rolls. People sell empty toilet rolls boxes full of them, and you could get like £5-10 for a box full of empty toilet rolls
crazy.
for craft stuff.
So, have you found that, Joe, yet or not?
I haven't found it. No.
Okay, probably been shut down for scamming or something.
No, it was a
maybe it's
website.
gone.
They did have a website as well.
So how many have you done over the years? Do you know a number of how many times you've ordered like a big batch of wholesale and
No.
for the vintage?
Quite a lot. Probably not as a lot as maybe some of the people in the chat. I don't sort of claim to be a massive clothing seller, but it's certainly something that I've been doing more and more of. Because if you can get stuff for £3, £4, £5, £6, even £10, and you can flip it for £40, £50, it's worth it. You know, the profit margins are good. Sometimes, you know, if your profit margin is only like 100%, like double your money, sometimes you question like if it's worth it. I mean, it sounds good, double your money, but when you take the fees off and you take your time off, think, well, is it worth it? So if you can get something where you can do 3, 4, 5 times the money, then obviously it's got to be worth looking at, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Joe was talking about. I don't know if it was on stream or just before the stream last week, saying like at doubling your money, it just seems like a lot of work to sift through and then have the bad stuff in there as well, and then fees. But like at 2, 3, sometimes 4 times your money, that's when it starts, you know, getting up there.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, double your money is all right if you're talking big numbers.
Yeah.
You know, if you buy something for 100 and you can flip it straight away for 200.
Yeah.
Not. But there's no point in buying something for 5 and flipping it for 10, or buying something for 10 and flipping it for 20. It's just not worth it.
And then you have to factor in your hours as well. Like it's a lot of work to
exactly.
Like the palette
time, your travel, all that.
That palette of glasses that I just got in. I don't know if you saw that, but I got 600 or 700 brand new pub glasses in. But there's only 22 variants of the glasses, so it was 22 photos, same description for all of them, explaining that they're brand new, blah blah blah, different prices, and it took me about 20 minutes, 30 minutes to list them all. But with wholesale clothing, every single piece is unique, has its unique defects. You have to photo them, write them all down, make sure that everyone's aware of all of the issues with it. So
I think that
there's so much work behind clothing.
I think in this business with second-hand stuff, double your money is just not good enough, especially when, like, I mean, to be honest with you, I tend to go for 10 times your money or more. And that sounds like greedy, but that's what I tend to go for. And that's why I really struggle to buy off of other resellers. I struggle to do that. I know a lot of people message me from YouTube saying, are you interested in buying this? I'm not really interested in buying that at the minute, but later on down the line, I'm only 2 years into this. I'm only 2 years into being a reseller, and I've got a warehouse that's nearly full of stock. When my stock is full, I'm going to cherry pick and just pick up really good stock, and I might pay like 50% of the value. Or if it's like stuff that is easy, like if I bought a gaming console bundle, not a gaming console bundle, if I bought someone's gaming collection, I'll probably pay like a third of its retail value, like what I would be able to resell it for, because then you're taking into consideration returns. Obviously, with the big job lots I've been buying recently, the big electrical job lots, I've been paying 250, 350 per lot. But the last lot that it come on Friday, it was a ton, literally 1 ton of laptops and computers and monitors, and I paid £350 for that. Now, the price of that hasn't been decided yet. I haven't gone through it all, but I would say it's close to £10,000 worth of stock as spares and repairs. So that's because I found that contact, and now I'm used to that sort of deal. That's where I'm kind of comfortable with.
Are you going to be?
It's hard to go backwards in it.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go on. You good?
Okay.
So I was going to just ask if you're going to go through and test that stuff, or you're just going to get rid of it as spares. And
I'm going to be selling it as spares. I don't need to test it because I could make 10 times my money selling it spares and repairs.
It's pretty good.
So what's the waste of my time in testing it when I could just flip it on? Somebody else can make some more money by fixing it up and then selling it back on. I'd much rather do that than having to test them all.
So you're going to list that as spares and repairs untested? So
I'm actually going to be doing some pallets. I don't know.
Okay.
I spoke to you about it already, haven't I, Jay? I've offered it to you, but I'm going to do some pallets of the stuff that I don't want to deal with. So I'm going to do a pallet of computer towers, untested, and work out the price, what it would be as spares and repairs. So I've offered it to Stacey already. I think there's like 40 towers. Spares and repairs, you get 30 quid a tower. So we worked it out to be just over a grand's worth. I said to him, 300 quid, it's yours.
Yeah.
Just to clear it and get rid of it.
That's good. I mean, I would take some off your hands, but I just got no space right now for that kind of stuff. So
The bulk I'm trying to get rid of. It's not the laptops. The laptops are quick sellers at 25, 30, 40 pounds each.
see, I said you should do like a tower, a monitor, keyboard, a mouse, and sell them off as like school. What's it called? Homeschool starter kits for parents that have to teach their kids at home now. But
You see, that's brilliant because the stock that actually I got in was from 3 schools. It's three schools. They all upgraded their computers. They all upgraded their laptops, and they got rid of all of their old stuff. And the guy, my printer guy, he goes and collects them all. They take all of the hard drives out and then sell them to me because they can't sell them with the hard drives because it's got all the personal information on and that. But we've come to an arrangement where I'm going to be buying the hard drives separately because a lot of them are 5,000 gigabyte hard drives. And 5,000 gigabyte hard drives, if you wipe it, you can sell them for £100 each.
yeah.
So,
I've added you as a moderator if you want to add your YouTube link in the chat, by the way, Chris.
Okay, thank you. Cheers.
You've completely taken us on a tangent here, Joe. I've lost my train of thought now.
I'm sorry, we're talking about job lots to start with, weren't we? Started off in the close.
This always happens. This always happens. There's always reselling.
It doesn't go on a
Yeah.
tangent.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, like when you buy vintage, do you like have a favorite wholesaler that you deal with, or do you just pick and choose a random one each time, or try and always find a better deal, or how does that work?
I think you've always got to scour and look for different deals. I've tried a new one at the weekend, or Friday actually. I've ordered from another sort of 400 quid's worth of stuff coming in. So I'm gonna just see what they're like because they're quite new.
Yeah.
But I do tend to go back to sort of vintage Vera. They've been quite good to me. They've sorted me out with some good stuff. And now that I've met, what happens with the clothing suppliers is, it tends to happen is, if you've done 3, 4, 5, 6 orders with them, they start to remember the kind of stuff that you buy.
Yeah.
So they'll drop me a message and say, Chris, do you need any stock? I've just had a load of stuff delivered, like cycling jerseys, say, for example. I do like buying cycling jerseys. So they'll drop me a line and say, do you want us to do a video pic, and sometimes I'll say, I'm all right, thanks, I've got tons of stock at the moment. Or sometimes I'll say, I'll see what you've got. There's no commitment there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, vintage Vera have been very good. I've moved around. I've probably done about 7 or 8. There's some blatant, some well-known wholesalers that I've not tried yet, so I'm going to try them in the future. I've had a couple of bad experiences with companies, so I've had the whole spectrum. So it gives you a lot of experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something? Brum Resellers just put in the chat. Just put your name on, like George Ross did, on the invoice, and you'll get the cream of the crop. Do you ever use your YouTube name to get yourself a better deal?
No.
You don't?
No, I haven't done. No. Sometimes after, what I tend to do is, right, with the vintage Vera lot that I just did, of course, once you've done it once, they know. But I ordered from them, made a video. As after the fact, I sent them the link and said, I've made a video, it's now on YouTube if you want to have a look. Sometimes it can help your promotion as well, because they'll sometimes put it on their website or they'll put it on their Facebook page or whatever. And I've done it that way, but I've never said to a company, My name's Chris. I make videos. I'll do an unboxing. So you know, do you want to do a deal? I've never done any of that. I always just buy as a customer. If I decide to make a video, I'll make a video. If I don't, I don't. I don't even make a video every time because there'd be too many and people get sick of them anyway.
Yeah, we had that whole conversation last week after some events that happened on YouTube. No drama or anything, but yeah, we had that conversation about whether advertising your name to the like or what you do to a company will affect what you get in your package, and whether you should then show that off without having a nice big disclaimer that you've done that.
Yeah,
I think everyone had a different opinion on it, to be honest. My opinion was I probably would never do that because I wouldn't want someone to not understand that not everyone's going to get the same amount of stuff or something, and then
it's so hard. It's so difficult that. It's so difficult because what happens if a wholesaler contacts you, right? What would you guys do in this situation? Big clothing wholesaler contacts you and says, "Do a deal. I'll send you, a bale that's normally £1,000. We'll do it for 500 quid. Will you make a video for us on the unboxing? In exchange." So it's a paid promotion basically. So you put that on. It's paid promotion.
If that's what they're expecting to get, £1,000, I would say the value of this to go off and buy this would cost £1,000.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But I'd have to know that was £1,000 bundle and not a £1,200 bundle.
A special.
Yeah, pretending to be £1,000 bundle. Yeah. So.
But also,
you've got to try and.
I would say that they reached out to me. I say, this company, Vintage Clothing UK, contacted me and said, "We've got a bundle for you. Here it is. This is how much it's worth. This is how much they would sell this bundle for." Because then I'm disclaiming saying they've contacted me to say yes.
Yes.
Because then, I mean, I didn't do that before because I did do a pallet, which I did contact them saying, "I would like to buy a pallet off of you. I'm going to film it for my YouTube channel." I turned up. It was all the gaming stock. I opened it all up. Some all right stuff in there. I made about £300 profit on a £500 expenditure. It wasn't great. But Jay went off and bought one, and he didn't have a good experience with his. He got rubbish. So after that, the second pallet that I bought was toys. I didn't actually contact them to say I'm a reseller and I do YouTube. I did it same as what you said, where I got the pallet, I opened it up, I'd done a YouTube video, then I contacted them and said, "Here you go, here's if you want to use it." And they said that they got a lot of people coming to them to buy stuff because of that. So next time I go to buy with them, I'll get 10% off. But the pallet that I got, I didn't really get much profit from, so I haven't gone to buy from them again.
See, I had a video idea last week where, without mentioning any names of like the company, I would go to a company and buy like a lot using my YouTube name, and then I would buy the same lot again to my parents' address with just a regular bog standard name. No, they wouldn't know that it wasn't just from a random person, and then do like an unboxing comparison to see if there was any differences. But then obviously the question comes up, like, it could have just been random, like that box could have just been better than, and then you obviously don't want to give any companies' names out because then that's kind of like, so
that kind of feels like you're targeting a company.
Yes, it's like a good video in theory, but then in practice it probably would just look like an attack on a company if it ended up being like this one was much better than this one, and it could have just been, you got a lucky lot. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes you get lucky, don't you? You do. Sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah, because they're not going to know. Like, they deal with vintage all the time, but they might have a worker that's not aware that that specific t-shirt there is like a rare one from a concert that was like, and it's really expensive. They're not going to know every single thing. So you might get that one piece. Like, I think you got the 2-pack shirt or something. I don't know how much they ended up. Did that end up being worth much, or?
Well, I've listed it for 150 quid, but we'll see what happens.
Well, there you go. That
See
would
what
probably
happens.
end up going around like 130 or something, maybe. I don't know, but
Someone commented from California or something and said if I could sell that here for $250 or something. Now, who knows if
mad.
that's right or not, but I listed it for 150 because I had no clue whatsoever what it was worth.
yeah.
I put a silly number on it, basically. That's what I tend to do. If I've got a gut feeling that it's going to be worth something, and I can't find anything on my research, I'll put a silly number on it and see what happens.
That's exactly what I do. And to be honest, sometimes you do that and you completely forget it's listed. And then one day you'll just get a cha-ching and you'll look at your phone, you'll be like, oh, that actually sold. That's crazy.
Nice. Yeah.
Do you remember that giant
Nice.
Gremlins plush I bought?
Oh, yeah, that was massive.
Yeah, I paid £60 for that, and I did list it for 250. And I thought, that is aiming high, and it sold. So that was at 250. Like, you know, that's just for a tenny. But then again, I felt good about it. Good enough to pay 60 quid for it.
I would
you
have paid
took
for
a-
it. I would
Yeah.
have paid 60 for that.
Took a gamble, yeah. But something like that though, it's gotta be worth money. But like the longer you do reselling, you build up like I feel like a lot of resellers have a natural instinct for items. But then you build up this kind of like secondary instinct where you start thinking like, well, that's £60. Even if it's not worth, what can I get for it? Like bottom end. And even if like at that point you're like, well, I can get my money back guaranteed, pretty much. And it's those items that you end up risking. What'd you say? Your mic went a bit funny.
If I'm stupid enough to buy it, somebody else will.
Well, that's it, yeah. But like, as long as you can cover your money on those kind of items that you're like gambling on, it's usually those ones that end up being worth the most. Any questions in the chat, by the way, for either of us or Chris? Feel free to ask. We will start cycling through questions, so if you have any, feel free to put them in the chat. Dad Smith says transparency is key. As long as you're open, any deal made should be declared. Anyone that's doing like
honest and upfront about it.
Anyone that's doing backhand deals and trying to like sell stuff on or sell a company to someone, like they'll get found out in the end, and that'll be the end of that. So you have to be. That's why I kind of would always avoid trying to like even let them have any inkling that you do what you do on YouTube. But there's a fine line, because there's obviously your business side is like, oh, I can get some more stuff, I can make a little bit more money. But then when you're then showing it off, even if you're not actively promoting, people will veer to that website because they've heard the name and they will pick stuff up. So you have to be very careful with what
I'd
you do.
even go like the opposite way with it, really, because like if say Vintage Vera, like I've ordered a few from them now, they know I'm a YouTuber now because I've sent them links, and they let me know if they've got a new delivery in and there's something in it that I might like.
Yep.
So I'm now of the opinion maybe I should stop doing hauls from them, because what if they are now consciously giving me, well, it's not blind. I'm always, whenever I buy off them, it's never blind. It's always a video pick. So basically, I pick. They don't tell me what I want. They just take me along a massive rail and they go, just say yes to whatever you want, and they'll go click, 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 click through each item.
Do they
So
do that
technically,
for everyone?
they're not choosing for me, but
Do they do that for everyone?
anyone can do
if
that.
they do that for everyone, there's no problem in doing a whole on that.
Yeah, I
If
suppose.
they're treating you the same they would treat
Absolutely.
anybody else, it doesn't really matter.
They take you down the green screen aisle that they've pre-recorded, the Chris section. Quick, he's on the line. Turn the cameras on.
Here's the YouTube corner that we'll show you through.
You just see in the background.
If he's any good, he'll find some stuff here.
All the staff in the background like throwing the good stuff into a pile. Like, quick. Dan Norman says, what's the best way to get back at a scammer in your guys' experience? The best way to get back, I wouldn't say getting back at them, just trying to counter it, really.
I want to counter it because
mitigation in the first place to prevent scammers, and then like if someone's trying to actively scam you, like just be smart about it. I guess there's always way to send a reply to a scammer that lets them know that you know what they're doing. which sometimes can make them back off. But I don't know whether getting back at a scammer is something anyone should be trying to do.
Here's one for you. Talk about scammers. It's not so much a scammer, but Lauren, obviously, she's recovering from her surgery, so she hasn't been able to get out to work. So I've been doing her packing for her and getting her stuff packed out and sent out.
What a nice boyfriend you are, Joe.
She had her mobile phone number on her eBay account, and she sold a printer about 2 weeks ago to someone. And 2 nights ago, we're laying there on the sofas, and she gets this phone call. And she answered it, and it's a bloke going absolutely mad at her, calling her all of the names under the sun. And I was like, "Excuse, who's that on the phone?" She goes, "It's a customer. They're not happy with an item." So I said, "Pass me the phone." And I took the phone call. She's already not very well. She's still recovering, and she's dealing with this stress on the phone. So I decided to take the phone call. I was like, "Hello?" And he goes, "Shut up. No, you shut up. Listen to me." And I goes, "Excuse me, who do you think you're speaking to? Is this about a return? You can contact me via eBay. Send a message so it's all tracked and so we can see everything on." But he was demanding that the ink gets paid for and everything gets paid for. What I do with my printers, and Lauren does the same thing as well, because I get a lot of printers in. We test them. We'll run the test. We'll do a video test on the printer. So a video test of it working. Upload a link. Upload that to YouTube. I'll show you here. Once it's uploaded to YouTube, I put it as unlisted, so only people with that link can see it. So I've got two here. I've got two right here, if you can see it. There's a Samsung printer, and then there's another test of an Epson printer. So, and I have that in the link to this. I have that in the description, so they can click on that link and watch the item working before they purchase it, because printers tend to get a lot of returns on. And I do test them, and it infuriates me when it gets returned and it's working fine. So I always use that as a disclaimer. But this person was so rude to Lauren. She doesn't want to speak to him again because she's upset that they're going to ring her again and give her more abuse on the phone. So I've been trying to deal with that, but that's savage. Somebody ringing you up. I didn't even know her phone number was on her eBay account.
I've only had 2 phone calls since I've been doing eBay. I had one guy that I forgot to put the sensor bar in the Wii box, and I just apologised and sent it. And then the other guy, some guy was shouting at me down the phone. I actually recorded it because I thought it was hilarious. He was shouting at me down the phone because he said that it wasn't a brand new item when it was listed as brand new. So I recorded that phone call. I was going to upload it to YouTube, but then I thought, no, I better not do because I didn't ask permission. But you ever had any phone calls through eBay? Do you have your number? I have my number on. I actually phoned them the other day to ask if I could. I asked if I could remove my email and that the other day because I kept having people trying to hack my account through my emails, like sending me eBay links and stuff. And they were like, you can remove your phone number and you can remove your email address, but you have to replace them with a fake one. I was like, what? That doesn't sound right. Like, I'm going to do that and then get banned or something. So I just left it in the end. Like, you never know that customer services with eBay will literally tell you anything to get you off the phone. Sometimes, not always.
I've had a phone call. I've had a phone call, but I think I've only ever had one call. And that was just somebody asking about an item, like to talk about it a bit further, but that was it, really. I was shocked at that because you don't expect to get a phone call.
Yeah, no, when that one came through and he was shouting at me, I phoned eBay to ask them, and they said you only have to speak to people if it's involving a case that's actively open. So if there's no case open, you can just say open a case and hang up the phone.
And even then, surely that's not a good idea because there's nothing tracked on the case. So what's the point of talking over the phone about it?
Yeah, and even then, like your solds are available if you have it set up, so people can see what's sold, and they have your phone number. So what's stopping someone ringing up and being like, "Oh, I'm the person that bought blah 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 from you or whatever," and can you send me?
That's a scam that's been going around.
Is
Yeah,
it?
that
I
is a
didn't-
scam. That. Yeah,
I
that
wasn't
already
aware
exists.
about that, but yeah, I was going to say that's probably a likely one, but yeah, it's always, you always get weird people like that. A follow-up to the other question about the scammer, Dan says he had bought an item off a customer who was pulling a fast one, might return it in the max weight class. Okay, so you bought something and they're scamming, so you're fully covered with that. As if that was through eBay, just open an item not described case and you'll win, pretty much. What do you even have to do as a buyer to prove that they just give you a return and then you get your refund, right? I'm pretty sure.
Not a lot. Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah, I don't think eBay even asks for any proof. You literally just open an item not described case, put on there what's wrong with it, and then you'll get a free return label, or you should do. Sometimes they'll try and get you to pay for the label, and then you have to claim that back. But I'm pretty sure if you put up a stink about it, then they'll make them do the label for you.
Normally, yeah.
Because I had a little Polly Pockets or something that went off to Spain once, and there was one little bit that had come off, and this woman wouldn't take a partial. I was like, okay, that bit's replaceable on eBay. Send them a link. It was £5. I'll give you a partial refund. You can order it. It'll take 2 days. No, I've got to send it back. So I went to do the return, and it was one of those ones where eBay wouldn't generate a return label.
Oh,
and then
so annoying.
And then I was like, okay, if you can post it back to me and send me a picture of the postage, I'll cover it, like 100% cover it. Like it's on messages. eBay can see that I said I'll do this, and she wouldn't do it. So the only way to get it back was to get a courier, because she was in some weird area of Spain, and the courier was like £45 back to the UK, and the item was £30 or something. So I was like, I'm stuffed here. Like, I either pay £45 to get back a £30 item, or I just let her keep it and give her a full refund. So that's what I did in the end. But to be honest, It wouldn't surprise me if she knows that if she orders from the UK, people aren't going to pay for the return, and she's doing this all the time. It honestly wouldn't surprise me, because just the adamancy of not doing the label herself. Because if she'd gone to her own post box, her own postal service, she would have got it for a regular price. Because I'm in the UK, I can't buy their service from the UK, so it, like, proper was expensive.
To that, I sold a pair of Audi TT rear lights, brand new. I bought them from a boot sale for 20 quid. I sold them for £250. They went international to America, and I made so much. I took so much care with these. I wrapped them all in bubble wrap individually, filled a box with void fill, and then put them in so they weren't going to be able to touch each other. And it was so much care, taking care of it, boxed all up, sent off. And I received it a couple of weeks later, contacted me with pictures of a smashed up pair of these Audi TT rear lights that were quite obviously used in a second-hand condition. The ones I sold were brand new, saying, unfortunately, they got damaged in transit. Please can you contact the Global Shipping GSP, and they should give a full refund. So he knew what he was doing, but because he labelled it like that, it was damaged in shipping, I know that I'm protected by the GSP, so I'm going to keep my money. So I did exactly what he asked me to do. I have blocked him because I don't want to deal with that again, because that is cheeky. But he got himself a free set of Audi TT rear lights he ordered from the UK just to get that protection, and I obviously got my money for it as well.
Yeah, my GSP sales have gone through the roof since Brexit, because it comes with customs charges prepaid, so they don't have to deal with it. So I've seen GSP has gone up compared to just people paying regular.
I'm seeing the same. I'm seeing the GSP going up as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that they've been really quiet on GSP, but the other week, I said it on my stream last week, the other week I think I had 4 or 5 out of 20, and that's quite a high percentage. That's like 25% will go in GSP.
Because normally for me, obviously I do through Packlink now. I go through all of the domestic ones, and then I go to click and drop to do the foreign ones, and I hate doing it because it takes ages to like punch in all the addresses for the foreign ones. But all my foreign ones that day were all GSP, so they just went straight through Packlink, same as the rest, and it was like, oh, this is actually quite nice. I like this.
I've started
I don't have to deal.
to go. I've found out. I found out. Stacey showed me that you can upload all of your things onto Parcel to Go and have them all be collected from the warehouse. And obviously with Lauren out of service, I can't drive myself, so I get in a taxi to the warehouse and a taxi home. The only things I'm taking back with me are large letters because I've got a post box outside the house, and everything else gets picked up from the warehouse.
You know, you can do a pick up with Hermes on Packlink, right?
Yeah,
Collection.
yeah. You can do that on Packlink, but you know where you can do bulk buy labels on eBay, all of your raw mail. You could do a similar thing on Packlink, on Parcel to Go.
Okay.
Buy labels at like 5, 10, 20 kilos per item. So instead of having to, it might cost me £1 more per parcel, but it saves me so much more time.
Yeah.
And the customer really paying for the postage anyway.
Let's see if we have any questions in the chat. So,
anyone ever done that? What Tori said there? She said, I bought an item from eBay and the seller turned up at my house to hand deliver it. No phone call, no nothing. Freaked her out.
A few people in the Discord used to do that, and I told them to stop doing. Oh, hang on, I've come off the live stream. Yeah, that. a few people did that. Like they were like, "Oh, it's just round the corner, and they've paid £6 postage. I'll go drop it off." I was like, for one, they're not gonna like a random stranger dropping their parcel off at their door. That's weird. And two, what's stopping them saying that you've not delivered it? Like you got no tracking, and you're gonna get them to sign a bit of paper, like take a picture on their doorstep with them. Like you can't do. Well, I suppose you can do it if you really want to. Yeah. At that point,
I had
just arrange a collection. If they're like just down the road, ask them if they want to pick it up, and then give them their £6 back or something.
I had one here. Cause I only live in like a little. I mean, Joe probably knows it, but I only live like a little village in the middle of the Devon countryside called Modbury, and it's a tiny little community. And I had a sale. Sorry, Joe.
Is it by Kingsbridge?
Yeah, we're about 10 minutes from Kingsbridge, like in between Kingsbridge and Ivybridge. So I had a sale, and lo and behold, it was somebody literally lives like round the corner from me, and you know we pass them like walking the dog and stuff. It was just so random, but I just thought this is ridiculous. Surely I don't have to post this item. It takes 3 to 5 days to get there. So I messaged him and I said, look, if you want to, I'll refund your postage if you want to come and get it from me. And I said, if you can come back to me before like 5 p.m. when I go and do my drop off, otherwise I'm going to drop it at the post office and it'll be put through the postal system. And he come back to me, and literally a few minutes later he's knocking at the door. It's proper weird. It's like out of everyone in the country, like someone just round the corner.
Yeah, I've had a few really local ones, but they've never asked to like do a collection. Like it's always the ones where you see the address, they're like just round the corner, but they never ask like, oh, can we come pick it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did have one before where they messaged me saying
anywhere in the world.
What's that?
It's not just the country though, is it? It's like they might be around the corner, but they could have ordered from anywhere in the world, especially if you're...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But I had one once where I got in a load of murder mysteries with the cassettes in, and I got this random message on eBay from this woman. She was like, oh, I'm really glad that I found your listing because we were having a murder mystery night tonight with the friends, and our cassette in our one's broken, and we've seen you have the exact same one that we planned to do. It's okay if I come pick it up in 10 minutes. I was like, what? That's so weird. But I was like, yeah, sure, pay for it and you can come get it. And then she came and she was like, oh, thank you, everyone's turning up for murder mysteries and our thing was broken. I was like, that's hilarious. But yeah, other than that, I'd never really had anything strange. But
Adam said Nick Hills had to go to the police and eBay to sort his car light situation out. Everyone's probably seen that video.
Yeah.
But the police can't help you in that situation.
No.
They're not going to take a report. Let me tell you that, having been there and done it, they will not take a report for that.
But he was forced to do that by eBay.
Yeah, but that's a good case of eBay just passing you off to the next person.
Oh, that was passing the buck. They did not want to deal with that situation. They couldn't be asked with it. It's too complicated. They didn't understand it.
Yeah. They probably dug out the what to do manual from 15 years ago.
Rule book, yeah.
Yeah. And at that point, if they tell you, if you ring up eBay and they tell you to do something, there's no amount of explaining that you can do that will ever change the outcome of that phone call. You just have to hang up and phone again and try and get someone that's going to actually listen to you. But as soon as they try and tell you to do something stupid, it's like a lost cause. There's no point staying on that phone call because they
won't veer off from whatever they're reading off what script it is. They won't veer off it because they have to stick to that.
Yeah.
Until you speak to someone else who's got common sense and might not go off the rule book.
Or someone that's been there for long enough to know how everything works.
No, but it's stupid, yeah.
Yeah. And it's even worse now because everyone's working from home, so they don't have a supervisor that they can flag down in the office to come help. So if they get lost, they'll tell you to do something to get you off the phone, or they'll just like pass you over to a different caller or a different phone operator or something. So. Yeah,
I tend not to. I only phone up eBay like if it's a really complicated thing to talk to them about. Otherwise, I just go on the live chat because I find the live chat normally resolves most things.
Yeah, if I ever ring, I try and ring in the morning because that's when Ireland go online and they're really nice. If you get an Irish phone operator, like you'll get everything sorted.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I think the Irish office is much better. Where's the other office? I'm not too sure.
I think it's like, I don't know, Thailand or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
It's in the Far East somewhere, isn't it?
Somewhere.
In the Far East.
Yeah. Malaysia, maybe. I'm not sure. But they're good. If they're a good phone operator, like someone in that call center is fine for most of the things. But it's when you got that one thing that they've never heard of before, and you ring up and they give you a really stupid answer. And you try and explain to them in a polite way how that's stupid and doesn't make any sense, but they just don't understand because they've not been taught that, obviously, or their manual doesn't explain what to do. So, yeah.
So many different buying situations, though, isn't there? And there's so many different ways things can go wrong. People can get scammed, buyers and sellers. So a manual can't cover every eventuality. At some point, someone has to listen to a story from start to finish and apply some common sense.
Yeah, but I don't know whether they're allowed to use common sense. That's the problem.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, the amount of times I've phoned up because of a case, and then the guy on the phone or the woman on the phone has reverted the result of the claim into my favour. The phone call ends, and 2 minutes later I get an email saying that it's been reverted back again because the other person's phoned up and gone, why has this been changed? And then they just flip it back to the buyer again. And then you're on the phone again explaining that they've just flipped it to you and now flipped it back to them. And then at that point, they just go, we'll just give you your money back out of our pot to keep everyone happy. And
it's because they don't really... While they're talking to you on the phone or while they're talking to the buyer, they don't want an argument, so they'll agree to it and get you off the phone and deal with the next person, and then they'll worry about the next phone call when that comes.
Yeah.
Mad.
I'll tell you one thing. I didn't realise how difficult it was dealing with. Obviously, I've got over 2,000 feedback now, and I'm a power seller, top-rated seller. I got all of these little boxes that tick, and when I phone up eBay, they tend to deal with me very quickly. Lauren had a case the other day where she sold an Apple MacBook Pro care plan, and it was sealed in the box. It was a code inside a box sealed. Sold it for £130. And it got to the buyer, and they opened up a return case, and it come back unopened, no code. The code's been used. So
was the code just on the back of the...
They forced her to do a I forgot what it's called, where she had to report it as a crime, but forced her to do all of this to get her money for an item that was a code. It's supposed to be protected under the digital code. The one what you told me about, Jay.
Yeah, no, digital codes on eBay aren't protected by buyer protection, so they shouldn't be able to ever return them. So
yeah, they refused to cover it under that, and it took her like an arm and a leg just to get her money back. And she's only just a top-rated seller. She's not a power seller or anything like that.
yeah.
Just top-rated. And I didn't realize how much your power seller, top-rated seller, like thousands of feedback, how much that actually does make a difference in trying to get something sorted with eBay.
We have a question in chat and I don't quite understand it, so you guys might understand it more. From Dan, he says, have you guys cancelled an order going GSP and successfully gotten a refund for the postage before the item was even dispatched?
You can cancel labels.
I don't understand.
If you've paid for it through Packlink or through Royal Mail on eBay.
Oh, okay, I understand now. So he's paid for the label, but he wants to cancel the label because the GSP order's cancelled. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do that on Packlink. You just go back to the listing, click postage, and when it comes up with the Packlink page on the bottom right, it will say cancel label or something. I'm not sure how that works through Royal Mail. I think there is a way to void a Royal Mail label, but I'm not sure exactly how that works if you did Royal Mail or something.
You can cancel on the My Hermes website as well. If you buy direct with My Hermes, you can cancel through that, and it's very easy actually. I did one for the missus the other week. You just go on their stupid chat bot, but it's very easy. It's very easy to do it. And a couple of days later, they cancel the ticket. They cancel the thing. What do you call it?
Yeah.
Label.
I posted a parcel a couple of weeks ago. Customer had opened an item not as described case. Tracking shows the parcel was refused at the drop-off shop. I didn't have a return address on the parcel. Who do you think will win? If it's through Packlink or Hermes, your address is like embedded into the scanner on the barcode on the label, I think. And if it's refused, then they should return it back to you. I'm not sure what label you used though. But if they've refused to accept it, then they shouldn't get their money back. If the item doesn't return back to you, you should be able to keep your money. That's not your fault. I had a guy that ordered an item to like Spain or Italy, I can't remember where it was, and he decided that he would go on holiday the 3 days it was supposed to arrive. So they attempted to deliver 3 times, and then he tried to get his money back when it got sent back to me. I never got the item back. It got stuck in customs on the way back, so I had to phone up, and eBay was like, no, they've attempted delivery and he's gone on holiday. He can't get his money back for that. And I got to keep the money, and the item never came back to me, so God knows where that went. Maybe he arranged a delivery again, I'm not sure, but
Stacey got a return the other day. I say a return, it wasn't a return. He got a parcel that got stuck in postage 2 years ago, and it got delivered back to him. So return label was on there, and it got delivered back to him the other day, and it was 2 years, 2019.
I saw that one.
Last time it was dealt with on the label, it says 2019. And he got it back and done a little video on that where he opened it up to see what was in it. And there's a camcorder, a nice camcorder. He said, I didn't even realise this didn't get to the customer. Customer hasn't asked for a refund or anything like that.
That's mad.
Too long ago to chase the customer up and say to him,
You can't because eBay limits it to 90 days, which is so stupid.
But he listed it and sold it for 120 straight away.
I never understood why they limit
crazy,
your...
isn't it?
Like, why do they have that 90-day, like, you can only search back 90 days? It doesn't make sense.
Probably like having a phone, and then the memory gets filled up, so then you have to delete things to run.
Imagine how much data they must be dealing with, like millions of buyers and sellers, to be a horrendous amount of data. I guess they have to cut it off, but you'd expect to have at least a year, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but can it be that much when... Just think how many pictures they store for all the listings, yet they can't hold your data from your sold, which is like a little tiny bit of information, you know. Yeah. Or they should at least have an option. They should at least have an option at the end of each month where you can download it. It's like, do you want to download your site sales data?
Yeah, I suppose.
And then you can just click a button.
I think a lot of the problems with eBay are because their site is running for so long, like over 20 years. eBay have been running now. It must be close to 25 years. What they've tended to do over the years is they pile upgrade upon upgrade upon upgrade. It must be so complicated, and behind the scenes must be really a technical nightmare. I mean, at some point I would expect that they're probably just going to have to just start from zero and then move everyone across.
Do an eBay 2.0 website.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally an upgrade hell, probably.
I think I have like 3 or 4 different versions of eBay running on my eBay right now, because you have the seller hub, which is like the new bit, and then if you go back to like the summary page, that's different, and then if you go into your account where like all the old fees used to be stored before seller hub came along, that's like a really old version. That's like years and years old, that bit. So yeah, I've never actually gone to look at eBay's like website tree. You know, some websites they have at the bottom, you can click on the like link tree and it will like show you all the different like areas you can get to. That'd be interesting to go through and see if you can find like the oldest section of eBay that's still active. Right, any questions? How long have we been live for? How long did you want to stay for, by the way? Do you have a cut off time?
Whatever, not bothered. Okay. Not bothered. What do you two do in regards to clothing? Do you do much clothing?
I have done clothing. I've done a pallet of clothing, which was a big regret. I ended up giving most of that away at Torbay Carboot sale.
You got that from the same guy as the pallet of gaming stuff, though, didn't you?
Yeah, that's it. I got it from him. It's all pretty little thing, all like just high street brands. Nothing great. And I did pay somebody else to list it all for me, because I don't know the difference between a crop top and a bloody. I don't know. I don't know the difference between all these clothes. So I ended up just taking them all to the boot sale, flogging it all for whatever I could for 50p a piece. It's all brand new, so some of it went.
But that just goes to show how far you've come since then. Because if that happened to you now, you would have binned it.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't have. I would have job lotted it to somebody.
Okay. Well, yeah. But you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Back on a pallet.
You wouldn't have taken it to a car boot and sat there selling it for 50p each, though, right? Like if that happened to you today and Car Boots was open.
I ended up giving it away. I gave it all away to a house clearance guy. I said, as we were finishing, I went up to him and goes, "Look, I've got loads of stock left. Do you want it?" Actually, Chris came to that car boot because you bought a teddy off of me.
Yeah, I think we've got a couple of teddies off you. Gave you like 50p each or something.
Yeah. It was just all stock clearance.
You were like, "Oh, just take it. You can have it for free." I'm like, "No way, no, you're a reseller. Yeah, about 50p."
He probably made more money off those teddies than you did at that car boot.
You sell some clothes, right? Don't you? You do clothes.
Yeah, I've been just slowly getting into it, like a bit here and there. I've never bought any like bulk or wholesale or anything. Right? Yeah, I've got a guy in the on Facebook that lost his job, so he's been basically doing reselling, but like Facebook only. He's not found eBay yet, which I don't know whether I want to tell him about or not. But yeah, he keeps getting really good stuff, football clothing and all that I keep buying for him. But he'll just send me like randomly like 2 in the morning. I'll just get like 80 photos get sent to me on Facebook, and I'll just go through and pick through it, and then he'll give me a nice cheap price and he'll drop it off for me the next day, which is really nice. But yeah, he had an Xbox on there. It was an Xbox One S, and I said, "Oh, is that still available?" He goes, "Oh no, someone's taken that. It's on pending now." I said, "So how much did you get for that then?" He goes, "Oh, well, we didn't know how much it was worth, so we just asked for an offer, and I give it to him for £80 in the end." I was like, "Oh my god." So I said to him, "You know, that's like £200 if you got a controller, right?" And he's like, "What? That's crazy." He just buys from other people on Facebook and then sells it on Facebook, I presume. But I said to him, "Look, if you ever get anything big like that again and you don't know what it's worth, just let me know and I'll tell you." like a rough price, because I'd rather. I'm not going to tell him about eBay because I still want to be able to buy stuff off him, but I'll help him out
Good
if he
to have a
needs it.
contact like that, I guess.
Yeah, like I don't want to see him like. Imagine that, like he doesn't know, but he's probably paid like £20 for the Xbox. He's got a cracking deal, and then because he has no knowledge of the Xbox, he's made £60, which to him is probably really good. But like, if he knew that it was worth like 180 without a controller, 200 with a controller, whatever, like, yeah.
But that's the thing, because my printer guy knows the value of the stuff he's given me. One of the lots he given me, there was like 50 of these little black boxes that had free aerials on there, Wi-Fi extenders or something like that, and they go for £185 each. And so there's 50 of them. And he goes, yeah, they go for about £200 each. Then ones there, they go for £50 each. Then ones there go for this much. I goes, how much do you want for it all? He goes, I haven't tested out any of it. 150 quid. He knows the price. He wants the cash because it's his little side earnings, because he's obviously being paid to do the clearance, and then I'm paying him to get rid of his stuff. Instead of him having to pay to tip it, he gets paid to give it to me. So
does he not have space to like keep it and then sell it on eBay himself? He just doesn't have the time to deal with it, I guess.
I don't think he wants to deal with it, because I think he wants to stay, like, he's got his job where he earns enough money for him, which he's happy with. I always pay him his price. In fact, last time I bought from him, I paid him more than what he was asking for, because it was good value there, so I paid him more, and it keeps him sweet.
Yeah, like Tea Cake say, some people just want the cash with no paper trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I've actually found, like, a lot of people dumping their, like, Carboot people that don't pay tax on their Carboot stuff. They're just dumping on Facebook because they have no money. So I'm getting it super cheap, which is fine by me.
You don't know what else they've got going on in their lives anyway, do you? You don't know what other business things they've got going on, and it's they just want it cleared. They just want it out of the way. They probably just want it flipped as fast as they can, get the cash in, move on.
You never know. He might have a £1 million contract to clean out like a certain company's buildings, and to deal with £200 printers or Wi-Fi extenders is probably like a.
It's only the same as the house clearance guys, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
they
could earn a lot more from a lot of their stuff. I mean, I know they cherry pick a few bits out of it, but on the whole, they just lay out a van at a boot sale. Most of it's not been looked at, and they just want it out because they're doing the next clearance the next day or whatever.
Well, I have one guy that comes along and he's got like 50 lawnmowers, Dyson Hoovers, and by the end of the day, it's 50p each, sometimes 20p for working Dyson Hoovers. Oh. And if I had a car, I'd take all of them. But I have a trolley and I can't take him home. But yeah,
that's why I'm telling people to phone up the house clearance guys, because they can't go to boot sales, they can't get rid of this stuff, but they're still doing house clearances. They still have the stuff there, and they need to get rid of it. Phone them up, ask them what they're doing with it, tell them that you're interested in buying the stuff from them. They're happy to get rid of it because it costs them less money then, because they don't have to take the skip, they don't have to pay to dispose of it, because they are a business. As a business, you have to pay to dispose of all of this stuff. They're getting paid to clear it, you're paying them to take it, and whatever's left over they have to pay to tip. Phone them up. Not you, Chris, because you'll get the same ones as me, and I've already got them.
Someone in the chat says,
I'm not bothered because I ain't got the space, I ain't got the room for that stuff.
Yeah, someone in the chat says, I got a Dell laser printer returned because it didn't have an installation disc. Without contacting me, just returned it. They paid but decided to keep it. Oh, they paid for the late. Wait, what? They paid but decided to keep it. I guess they paid for a return label or something. I don't know. Yeah, imagine that. Like, installation discs, do they even exist anymore? Like, you just download it from the website, right?
Yeah, you plug it in, it downloads it automatically. Quick one, Paradox Picker. I pay people by the hour, and I pay a decent wage. It depends how old they are, between £10 and £15 an hour.
And you pay them cash because they're also self-employed, right? So that just goes down as
So
as
they
an
have to
expense.
pay
Yeah.
their own taxes. Yeah, they're self-employed.
What do they invoice you for?
They write me a receipt to say they've
Right.
received that money.
That's so good though, because that's just
Way
like
to go.
just an expense, right? No
Is an
faffing
expense, yeah.
around, yeah.
Innit? If they decide that they don't want to pay their tax, that's their problem.
It's not my problem.
It's basically like a workaround for a 0-hour contract. That
Stacey has got a he's just got himself his first PAYE PAYE worker. So
yeah.
he's just all the paperwork to have a PAYE, which when I do transfer over to limited, which I'm planning to do on April the 6th, just because I like the timing, I'm going to transfer over to limited hopefully. I'm going to be paying myself as a PAYE probably £8,000 a year, because that's probably the minimum that I can live on.
If you do PAYE, can you still employ people that are self-employed like that, or do you have to get them on the books as PAYE or?
Like subcontractors and stuff like that.
Okay, that's
Just
cool.
get your invoices, get your receipts.
Yeah, because any of us could do that. Really, thinking about it, like you could pay any. If someone's registers as self-employed, I don't know how many people would want to do that. But if they wanted work, if they were desperate for work, and you said, "I got work here. If you go self-employed, you can come to my house for 2 hours a day and do this, this, and this."
Yeah. Can do that.
And you get paid cash. You just have to deal with your own taxes. Anyone could do that, really. You don't have to worry about actually employing someone, and you don't have to worry about firing them either, because they're not technically employed, I guess. I could be wrong. I might get in trouble for saying that. I don't know.
Well, obviously, what I like to do, I've got one guy that's working for me at the minute. He's self-employed. He's a nerd. He's brilliant, fantastic, because he can identify all of the figurines. He's good with computer stuff. So all of this is great for me, because this is all the stuff what I'm dealing with at the minute. And I pay him. He's 17 years old. And I pay him £10 an hour. Obviously, 17-year-old, £10 an hour.
That's really good.
That's a brilliant wage. He was at the previous place I used to work. He was the pot wash. Somebody used to come in and wash the dishes for minimum wage, £6 an hour. I've stolen him. I'm keeping him on. And I'm going
Poached him.
When I do go into a limited company, I will put him on the books as PAYE on the £10 an hour wage, because he's good. He's somebody you want to keep around. And obviously, I'm paying him more than what anybody else would pay him, because I actually want his dad to work for me. If his dad comes to work for me, I will pay his dad £15 an hour, and I'll have him 30 hours a week, because he's that good.
Did he work at the pub as well?
Yeah, he was the head chef there.
So you're gonna poach the pot washer and the head chef from the pub?
They both left there now. They don't work there
okay.
anymore. They both work somewhere else now.
Okay.
But the head chef is just like, I had him for 1 day listing, and he got £7,000 worth of listings done in 1 day.
A 17-year-old working that hard, that's someone you want to keep.
No, not he's done about £3,000 in 1 day.
My bad.
£3,000 worth of listings. But his dad's done £7,000 worth of listings, over 70 listings. So,
That's good.
and they were good. They all went into drafts, and I checked every single one of them, and I couldn't find a fault.
That's really good. Someone says, as a limited company, will you then have to pay corporation tax? Presumably you will. Joe, that's for you. I have no idea.
I'm not a limited company yet, and all of that sort of thing, tax, VAT, all of that, my accountant will deal with, not me. They just tell me how much I need to stick aside.
Yeah.
I presume you would have some sort of extra tax you had to pay. You'd need some good liability insurance as well. If you have a warehouse or not, I presume you pay something.
Quite easy. I probably will have to take out liability insurance. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you have people working. Well, I mean, they're not technically employed, so maybe not. But people coming in and out, you need some sort of
I've got contents insurance at the minute.
If they trip on the toaster and break their neck, then yeah, you're gonna need something.
I'll be really annoyed that they broke my toaster. No, no, not that savage.
Life Redefined says 6 months in, CEX is a great job to start before becoming a reseller, or CEX and resell part time. Yeah, I suppose you would learn prices fairly quickly in CEX.
Poach. If you work at CEX, you can say, look, don't sell it to us here. Come meet me round the back. I'll buy it off.
Could you imagine saying that to someone, and then they like report you, and the police come in like, "Hey, you've been telling people to meet you around the back alley." That seems a bit, and you're trying to explain it away, like, "No, sorry."
I used to work in Cash Generator as a buyer. Oh, so many dodgy bits of stuff coming in and
yeah,
so much dodgy stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you buy something and then it turns up stolen, the police will just come take it off you, and you lose out. Like, and it gets held for like evidence for like however many years or whatever it is. They have to keep it. And
but that's the cost of doing business. That's like getting a return.
Not really, because you lose your money and the item. At least a return, you get your item back most of the time.
Still the cost of doing business, though.
I've had it because I, as well as working at Cash Generator, I had my own shop as well, doing like DVDs and games and stuff years ago. And I've had quite a few where cops had come in and said, "Have you got any of this in? You know, has anyone flogged you any of this?" And I've had to hand stuff over, and then that's it, it's gone.
Yeah, that's weird. Like a DVD, like. See, how are they going to prove that?
I used to have people coming in the shop with bags full of DVD, and they'd say like, "Oh, this is my own collection. I'm getting rid of it," and you know, I'd give them a price for it all.
How would they
document it?
How would they know that that was the same stuff? You could be like, "Well, I've had 50 of them DVDs come in the last 2 days."
You have to document everything as a second-hand seller with a shop. You have to literally have like proper council ledgers that you fill in for everybody, take the name and address and everything, and you have to itemize everything,
ID and everything, I presume.
Everything,
yeah. I had a question. I was going to ask you, would you ever have a shop again or not? Would you never?
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. The only thing I would do is, I guess, a bit like what John Brum, reseller, if he's still here, he's kind of got a bit of storage space that he can also operate as a shop if need be.
That's what I was always wanting to do, yeah.
That would be an option. I would consider that as an option, but primarily it would be like office storage, and if I can operate it as a space open to the public, then fair enough.
Yeah, I always wanted a brick and mortar where I could have the front, a bit like, but like Brum's really, but like have it like a circulating stock kind of thing, where like new stock would go out the front if it doesn't sell within like a week, goes to the back, gets listed on eBay for like a couple of months. If it doesn't sell there, it goes back out the front or whatever. Just like circulate stock through.
You'd have to have a real system going on, because John Brum reseller has got a real headache on his hands, because he's got like masses of albums, like vinyls, in his shop front, but they're also listed on eBay. So he's got them in his shop in a specific order. So what happens when a customer comes in, picks up an LP, puts it down somewhere else,
and even then, you're gonna have the 5-finger pickers that come in, nicking, and you never know, and then you sell it on eBay thinking it's still in stock. You go out to find it and it's gone.
But I mean, I was chatting to him about like, how can you resolve that situation? And it's a really tough one. That
you just have to not have it. You have to have it separated, really, like end goal.
Really tough that.
You could have it. You could have the front like separated from the eBay at the back, but then have a massive sign on the wall saying, "Anything in particular you want, ask me, because I might have it out the back." And then they can be like, "Oh, do you have this?" And then you can be like, you can look through your system if it's in stock, and really just looking at your eBay, you can be like, "Oh yeah, I have one of them."
Yeah. I don't think I would go back to having like a shop, a standalone shop. I just think the costs involved in that were horrendous. You've got to make so much money before you even can turn any kind of profit.
But then
it was really hard.
there might be like a small window of like cheap shops going for a while after everything reopens.
Well, a lot of people going out of business, aren't there? And
yeah,
unfortunately, when somebody falls victim to something like that, it opens up opportunities for other people.
yeah, it might be an opportunity for some people that are got to a certain point to have a pop-up shop, because a lot of malls and that have like Christmas pop-up shops, so there must be like short leases you can get for like 2 months or something. See how it goes.
Got a question here. Have you ever had won something cheap on eBay and refused, and the buyer and the seller refused to send it? They won a bike for 20 quid, and they wanted at least 80, so something like that. Yes. Stacey actually had it the opposite way around. He sold a remote control car chassis for £60, but the buyer had low feedback and didn't pay. So a couple of weeks later, he obviously the order has been cancelled because they haven't paid. It's gone in his death pile, and then somebody who he pays to come in and do his listing went to research it and list it again, so it gets relisted, and listed it for £999, and it sold for £999. £1,000 is really rare. I'm not too sure, but it sold for 60 quid. The person didn't buy it, didn't pay for it, so it got resold for £1,000. How nuts is that?
That's mad. That is mad. Was that like the starting bid as well, like the £50 or £60 or whatever?
Now.
Oh, buy it now, Jesus. Yeah, you underlisted that a little bit.
Obviously, he did do his research. Luckily, he paid for people to do it for him.
I can't say I've had that on eBay, but I actually had that twice last night, because I keep seeing people use Vinted to pick stuff up really cheap. So I went on there for the first time, signed up, and I got these 2 pairs of really nice trainers for £1 each, only to be refunded the next day when they said, oh, it's actually not £1, it's just to lure people onto my account to find my other stuff, sorry. And I was like, what?
Oh, that's annoying, that.
So I got my £2 back, and yeah, I won't be using Vinted again. So
I don't hear nothing good about Vinted.
I'll be back in a minute. I'm just gonna go to the toilet, so I'll be right back.
I've just listed. I just put like 3 things on Vinted just to see what it was all about, and it's nothing happening on there, to be honest. But I guess you've got to list more stuff than that, really, to even get any traction.
I think that's with overall platforms, really.
Yeah. Same with Depop as well. Depop, you know, you got to get a good number of listings on there, and I'm way behind on Depop.
I've tried Amazon. I haven't had much luck with that. That was over Christmas of 2019. I tried that, and I haven't tried it again since. I do want to try FBA this year. But also, I want to start selling on Facebook Marketplace. So you already know about my storage unit. I bought a storage unit. I'm going to go clear it out tomorrow. That I'm going to keep all to one side, and I'm going to try and sell all of that on Marketplace. Because a lot of it's furniture, pine furniture, nice stuff.
Yeah, you need to Facebook local collections and stuff for that.
Yeah. I found out that Parcel to Go does pallets. You can send pallets with Parcel to Go for 50 quid. So I am going to be looking at selling pallet stock pallet lots as well. So offering like postage for like 100, not because it depends where about in the country they are. Send a pallet I can send a pallet to Norfolk for £80. Pallet up to a ton to Norfolk for £80. Obviously, to Scotland, it might be £130, but to like Modbury, it will cost me 50 quid to post a pallet. I'm looking at selling pallet lots as well now.
Well, my pallet of glass cost £60. That was including VAT, and that came from wherever your guy was from that had the stuff in the first place. But that was half. It was half. I think it was half a pallet. It was classed as. It wasn't a full height pallet or something.
No, it's about 100 kilos, wasn't it?
I don't know the weight.
What do you do for storage and stuff, Jay?
I just have a spare room in the house that's got 4 big Costco shelving units in. So like the ones that Nick have, but they're like twice as they go about that deep. Okay. So they hold quite a lot of boxes. So
you get all your glass and stuff in there. Or you put them somewhere else.
They're just down in the living room. We got a big area in the living room that they're just stacked up. It actually didn't take up too much room, to be honest. Probably like when you watch the video, you'll see it's in like the corner. If you watch the video,
I'll watch it after this.
It's like in the corner. Like I have my original storage unit in there. It's like 2 wooden filing cabinets. They were my original storage because when I first started, I was selling like tiny bits or smaller bits that I could get my hands on. So they filled up pretty quickly, and I've not used them at all since I moved house. So they need to be gone, and then the glass will just be pushed further back in the corner. But yeah, I don't think they're going to hang around very long, to be honest. But it would cost me £300 for 700 glasses. I've sold 16 glasses, and I've made back £100. So I mean, it's going to be 10 times my money. It's going to be like £3,500, something like that, roughly, I would say.
That's really good.
And that's thanks to Joe.
The guy that you bought it from, Lauren actually got in and got a deal with him first. He's the guy that I bought all of my pallet racking from. So I bought 2 lots of pallet racking. They were priced up. I paid decent, pretty penny for them. And we told him what we did, me and Stacey, because Stacey bought 2 lots of pallet racking off him. I bought 2 lots of pallet racking off him. I've sorted for racking now. I don't need any more. What else do you sell? And he goes, well, I'm actually closing business because lockdowns have stopped all the pubs. So what I normally do is I sell barrels of alcohol, cider, lager to pubs, and I'll sell them to pubs. I was like, oh, okay, so you can't sell them anymore. It's like, no, I'm closed down. I'm retired now. But I do have all of this I need to get rid of. And he pulled out a box full of parasol umbrellas, a box full of rubber bar mats. What else was there? Lauren ended up buying it all for 50 quid. And she sold 2 umbrellas yesterday at £60 each. She sold about 30 of the rubber mats for £7.99 each. She's raking it all in on that deal. And then he said, I've got all of these glasses as well. I want 550 quid for them all. And he's, to be honest with you, I don't really want to deal with them. But I'll ask about, see if anybody else wants them. And I asked about, and Jay took them.
Yeah, no one wanted them. I was crazy enough to say, yeah, I'll have them. But I'm only paying 300 quid. And he goes, okay. It was actually really nice because it was £300 plus postage, which would have been £70. But he goes, whatever the postage cost will go half. So it ended up being £335 or something total. So he ended up cutting £35 into the 300 I'd offered for the pallet at the first. But he just wanted rid of it. He didn't want nothing to do with that glass anymore. He was done.
You sent an offer saying, ask him if he'll take 300 quid. So I messaged him saying, will you take 300 quid? I messaged Jay back and said, he said yes.
And I went, I should have offered less. That was too quick.
You should have. You should have said 200.
I probably would have done 200 to be honest, but I didn't. I'll make my money back, so I'm happy with £300.
Forget Joe gets his referral fee out of that as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, did he give you a finder's fee for that?
Pardon?
Did he give you a finder's?
That? No, I just set you up, boy.
All right, I'll have to give you when it's all sold.
I'm only kidding.
I'll tell you what. When the last glass sells, I'll give you 2% of the sales. What I'll do is I'll keep the last glass for myself, so it never sells.
I don't want nothing for it. I just, to be honest with you, I might be sharing. So obviously, I'm fully stocked now. I've got about 5 months worth of stuff to list. I don't need to buy anything, and I've just bought 44 boxes of brand new Magic the Gathering cards of 30 quid as well. I've just paid for it. But I'm fully stocked. Next time I get a job lot of this electronics through, I'm going to offer it out, see who wants it. But I'm not going to let them be in contact with my contact. So I'm not losing my contact.
Someone in the chat was talking about eBay gum. Obviously, he went on Rich's show. He's actually coming on our show, this show, next weekend, so he'll be here for any questions that you guys want to ask him. But he says, I admire the eBay gum guy, that's a tongue twister, for trying to do something different, but it's doomed for failure. There needs to be an eBay alternative, but it's just not it. I think Facebook Marketplace is the only real threat. I don't know, like, I think because it has the UK only aspect to it, if he advertises it well enough and updates the site, because the site's not great at the moment, but if that gets updated, plus there's an app coming on, and I guess it all depends how long he does the free fees for, because I feel like he might inadvertently build up a base of people that think it's going to be free forever, and then when the 3%, which is what he said it's going to end up being, fees come in, they might just migrate to a different free platform.
I think it's a bit difficult though, isn't it? Because obviously I'm interested in how many sellers he's got on his platform. Obviously, to get sellers on your platform, you need... No, I'm interested in how many buyers he's got on his platform. But to get buyers on your platform, you need people selling things. So he's concentrating a lot of time and effort onto getting sellers on his platform. I have tried to use his platform. I've tried to order things on his platform, and I found it quite difficult. So I've got a lot of questions which I'm going to be asking. The algorithm looks a little bit weird. If I type in Pokemon cards, it'll come up with Jay's glasses on eBay.
I've found exactly the same as that. The search facility on it is very, very poor.
I think that might just come down to the fact that there's not a lot on there at the moment. It's just trying to give you anything. Like if you search for something it doesn't have, it's just throwing any old thing at you to try and.
I think they're going to have he's going to have a real battle to. Firstly, he's pitting. He's literally putting himself up against eBay.
Yeah, but the name.
He shouldn't really be doing that because he's doomed to fail.
Yeah.
He actually got an illegal battle.
He's got no unique selling point really, apart from the fact that it's UK only. It's like Depop is for the cool kids and the vintage and all the studenty types. You've got Etsy for all that kind of crafty stuff and all that. Every one of the platforms has got something different. But he hasn't got a unique selling point. I think that's a real problem.
I think the one he's trying to go with is UK only. I think that's what he's trying to aim. Like, there won't be like all this faff around with like buying from people from foreign countries and stuff.
One of the great things about eBay is that you can sell all over the world.
I think you can sell, but people from other countries can't list. That's the thing. Like, you can sell outwards, but they can't like come in.
I think he's in like a vicious circle because, like what Joe was saying, he needs people on there to sell. But then, being sellers, our time is money. We don't want to spend time listing on a platform where you're not going to sell anything because it could have been listed on eBay and you could have sold it by the time you faffed about on another platform. It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg?
And like, expanding on what Joe said, like list buyers and sellers. Like you need sellers to list their items for buyers to come along and buy them. But if there's no buyers, a lister's not going to bother listing it, like you said. So it's like a catch-22. You need is $1 million advertising budget. Just throw everything at the wall at one time and hope that you get 50,000 people to sign up in a day.
I mean,
and get everything on there.
People criticize Vinted, but they've got a massive campaign on at the moment, haven't they? You see Vinted ads on telly every single ad break,
and that's what you need. If
all over the TV. It must be costing them a fortune, but it's the only way to get any traction because it got me. I registered. I saw the 100th advert the other day, and I thought, right, let's give it a go. And I went on, I registered, and I've listed 3 things. To see what the process is like.
I think he missed out on a major opportunity when he's getting sued by eBay. When eBay was suing him, he should have gone to all of the newspapers.
Publicity.
It doesn't matter how much publicity you get.
I think he did.
It doesn't matter if it's bad, good, or neutral publicity. All publicity is good publicity, full stop. He should have gone off to the newspapers. That would have been free advertisement. They'd have been like, oh, eBay's trying to sue this tiny little British company. Let's blow that out and put that everywhere.
He did use it. I've seen an interview with him where he said he did use some of that. Also, you got to be careful because there was an ongoing lawsuit, wasn't there?
it
But you
doesn't
got to be
matter if
careful.
they cover all ongoing lawsuits, as long as it would have done him good if he, at the time of being sued, if he spread the word, got to all of the newspapers, said, I'm currently being sued by eBay because I've decided to create my own platform. I think free publicity, any publicity is good publicity. All of that would have been just free advertising for him.
I'm
sure you guys can ask him all this stuff anyway next week. But like, you think the name eBay Gum?
I don't like it.
He's automatically pitting himself up against eBay by calling himself that.
I don't understand the name. It makes no sense to me.
Completely like independent and just created something new.
I don't understand the name at all. Like eBay, like you said, is like a rip-off of eBay, and then gum. Well, where's the gum come from? What is it? Does that?
It's a Yorkshire term, isn't it?
Is it?
They're from the north. They're from the north, so they're from like the Yorkshire area thing. And eBay gum is a famous phrase in Yorkshire.
Why?
It's like, oh, eBay gum.
I can't tell if you're trolling there or not.
You never watch like Last of the Summer Wine or something like that. It's probably something it's a, just Google it, right? It's a common phrase.
Are you trolling?
In North England.
I thought it was like an eBay and Gumtree like rip-off name.
It's a famous phrase up in the north.
The name just baffles me. Like it's.
What's the phrase mean?
It's hard to sort of explain it, but it's kind of like.
Use it in a
oh,
sentence.
Blimey. It's like, how much did you pay for that? Oh, blimey. How much did you pay for that? Oh, eBay gum, that's a lot.
Okay.
I don't know. It's something like that.
Guys, in chat, is he trolling us right now? I don't know whether this is real or not.
Jake would have thought Blimey would have been a better name.
Someone just said if he's
Seriously,
watching this next week, next week's live is cancelled. I don't think so. We're not being nasty. Like we're just criticizing and feedback's feedback. You know, if he's watching, he should be taking it as good criticism. I just don't understand the name. You say it's a word from somewhere, I don't know, but it just seems a bit like
the Yorkshire phrase.
If you go for Britain,
You go,
I think
tea
it should have been like chin chin.
it's like an exclamation. Okay.
Or cheerio. It should have been called cheerio.
It's like oh my god or oh my word. Okay.
Cheerzan Bay.
Fair enough, but I'm
Cheerzan
from down south, so I don't get it.
Thing is, all these opinions that we all have, this is what he's got to get past in order to have a successful platform. So
this is a good thing, though. This is a good thing because what we're doing now is because we don't understand it, we're discussing it, which is putting attention onto it.
I mean, we're all talking about it, so I think every reseller up and down the country probably knows a little bit about it by now, just from it like being word of mouth and that. But how many of those have converted to a sign up? No one's gonna convert to sign up and list unless they start hearing like, oh, I sold 10 things last week on eBay gum.
I've got an account. I have got an account.
Tea Cake says it's still a shit name. Okay. Yeah, to be honest, like I just thought it was a name ripoff from eBay and Gumtree put together. But then again, I guess Gumtree comes from the same phrase, maybe. But then Gumtree is an actual thing that they make like rubber from. I don't know.
Gumtree's owned by eBay.
It is now, yeah, but it wasn't originally. eBay have bought out loads of companies. They bought out like I think they bought out was it play.com they bought out? The one that used to sell games or something? Maybe? I don't know.
They were so good back in the day. They were so good. I used to get some bargain like DVDs and games and stuff from them. And then all of a sudden they got bought out and then they just disappeared. Changed the name to Rakuten or something. Was
it eBay that bought them or was it the one that bought out the other DVD rental?
It's a name and it died.
Lovefilm maybe bought them out, maybe. I don't know.
Right. The thing is, if you guys don't understand what eBay gum phrase is, Most of the country doesn't. So all people are going to do is make the comparison with eBay and.
But this is
THRIFT.
it, like market research. You should have like come up with 5 names and done surveys. Like, which of these screams seller site to you more? Like,
in all fairness, just us talking about it being compared to eBay and Gumtree, that's a good thing because it's still talking about it.
no, but I don't think it is a good thing though, because we're comparing it as like apples to apples. Like, we're not saying, oh, it's a bit like eBay, but it's good in this respect. We're saying it's just like a bad version of eBay right now. Like, I don't think anyone sat at home right now, and this is just being like in general, I don't think anyone's looking at their stuff in their house thinking, oh, I need to list this because I need a little bit of extra money. Oh, where should I go for this? Let's put it on eBay Gum.
Yeah.
I don't think
Colin's got
anyone...
it right. eBay Gum, the meaning, it means kind of oh my god, like an exclamation, sort of oh my god, eBay
Okay.
Gum. That's what they say in Yorkshire.
Okay.
Or was that primarily used by Southerners mistakenly thinking we say it all the time? I've never heard it in my life, and I'm from the south, so...
I think it's an older phrase. I very much doubt that everyone in Yorkshire goes around saying eBay Gum anymore. I think it's a fairly sort of historic phrase, if anything.
I don't understand why eBay tried to sue them then.
Because
well-
eBay sounds like eBay, I guess.
But not only that, if you looked at their original logo, it used similar colours, not the same. It kind of looked a little bit like it as well.
How long's it been going for now? Because I've only come across it in like the last 6 to 8 months, maybe, something like that. Has it been like a couple of years, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Probably at least a year, maybe 2 years.
Sure, I've got to quickly.
Cake says we don't bloody say it.
No, we don't.
On eBay Gum.
I don't know how south Tea Cakes is, but I'm down by London, so we don't say it here. Who's on next week? Darren from eBay Gum. Yeah, Darren. No, not Mark from Life and Adventure. Darren from eBay Gum.
I think the best thing you can do for the guy from eBay Gum. No, don't say that. I think the best thing you can do in your chat next week is give him some proper challenging questions.
Yeah, Joe is on them questions.
Don't be too like, because it's going to benefit him if he has some proper challenging questions. Because that's what he's going to have to get past to be successful.
That's the one thing that's good about this is we have the opportunity to kind of mold it in the way that it should be going, rather than like it ending up being in the gutter. Like, we can kind of at least try and help to send it on a good direction, because
I want to ask the questions what nobody else has asked. Obviously, a lot of the questions I've seen, especially on Reselling Life and Adventure, was literally, it felt like it was
a promotion.
It's to blow hot air into his balloon. That's what it felt like on his video.
I didn't watch it, so I can't comment on that one.
I felt the important questions which the resellers want to know is like, tell us about your algorithm, who's working on that, because I've searched on there for Pokemon cards and pint glasses for Guinness comes up. Who's working on your algorithm?
They might not have an algorithm. It might just literally be take word typed in search box, retrieve tag from title, show. Like, it might just be like some, generic coding to like bring everything up. It might not be like a, what is this person also bought in the, I don't know.
But that's what I think, because we are doing a live here, and the majority of the people that are watching this live with us, or our content or our videos, are also resellers. So the questions that we want to ask are the questions that are more important for the resellers. Obviously, for the buyers, it's going to be different. We're not buyers on there. We're looking to sell. I might have a go this week and buy something from eBay Gum, just so I can see how it works, see what the postage is.
Good idea. Prior to having your interview, that's a good idea. Go and buy something and just see what happens.
I think I will do that, yeah.
Well, I'm still waiting on my free tape, so that'll be a question. Where's my tape?
The tape's really good. The tape is actually good. Stacey's got rolls and rolls of it.
Can I have my tape, please? Thank you.
please can I
It
have
wa-
my tape?
It was posted this time last year. Can I have my tape? No, it wasn't. It was posted like a week ago. Yeah, but at the end of the day, like resellers are the ones that are like repeat customers of these sites, so they should be listening to us. Not okay. That sounded really arrogant. But like we're the ones that like use these sites like every day, every single day. So like if we have a suggestion that might be worth thinking about, maybe. But I don't know. We'll see. But someone did bring up in the chat that they're probably just going to get bought out by eBay as soon as they get to a certain size. But like they probably would be quite happy for that to happen. That might literally be his end goal: build a competitor that doesn't have to succeed fully, but get to a certain point and that eBay sees it on their radar and goes, oh, we tried shutting them down with a lawsuit 2 years ago and now they've got 2 million active users or something. I don't know, whatever it ends up being in a couple of years. Let's just offer them a couple million to shut up and go away. And they'll just like eat it into their own company. You'd probably find that he might be after that. He might not be serious about it at all in the long run. You never know.
In the long run, that's what I plan to do with my company. When I turn 40, I want to have £7 million worth of stock. And I want it not seven. I want my company to be worth 7 million. So I want more than £7 million worth of stock. I want all of that stock and the whole value of my company to be worth 7 million. I want to sell the whole lot and just finish there, retire at 40.
That's a really random number, 7 million. Like, where did that come from?
I'd have gone 10.
Yeah,
Just round it up.
I think my 3-year goal is 1 million, and I smashed my 1-year goal massively, smashed my 2-year goal. I think my 3-year goal is a realistic goal, and I feel like my 10-year goal is a realistic goal at 7 million.
I want to buy a house and not have to pay monthly for it. That's what I want.
That's the thing. I don't think I want to like get £7 million worth. Make my value of my business worth 7 million, and I'm still going to be paying myself the bare minimum. Literally going to be taking out money for my rent, money for my food, money for my bills. That's all I'm going to be taking, just the bare minimum, bare minimum, until it gets to that point where my company is at that sort of value that I can say, right, let's sell this company, sell it, retire at 40, put all of my money into either housing or into a high interest bank account. If you get a bank account with 1% like interest fees, like not 1% interest fees, with 1% interest, obviously that's a high interest. You're still looking at like 70 grand a year.
Yeah.
Which you live on.
Yeah, but if your stock's worth 7 million, you're not going to get 7 million for it.
I keep saying 7 million of stock. I don't mean it like that. I meant value of the business at 7 million.
So you'd need like 20 million stock to get 7 million.
Well, not really. I'd say because what they do is.
But if your entire business was a warehouse full of stock, then they're just going to buy it at a price.
No, it's not. It's not a warehouse full of stock. It's what I've built up with that, with my rapport with eBay, my eBay username, my eBay score. All of that will be taken into account as well. The equipment that I use will obviously be upgraded throughout the years. So it's all of the equipment that I'm using, like the staff you have, the racking. I think everything takes into account. When you value your business, I worked it out because I'm going to do a video on valuing my business currently. So obviously there you go, little spoiler alert. I'm doing a video on how much my business is currently worth. I think I've got around £80,000 worth of stock. So I would value my business around 40,000 with all of my eBay score and everything like that. I'd value my business around 40 grand.
Brum Reseller says, is anyone watching the Super Bowl? No, because I watched it last year to watch the halftime show, which they decide that they don't even show in the UK, so I wasted like 2 hours of my life waiting for the show to show up. That never showed up because they just played ads instead.
You have to stream it somewhere.
Yeah.
To see the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know why I watched it. Like there must have been someone performing that I wanted to see or something. I don't remember. But yeah.
Sure, you better watch it back on YouTube.
Telling me that I can't do it. I really do. I love people telling me I can't do it, and then I love proving them wrong, because everybody told me it's a stupid move moving into my office, paying £500 a month rent in the office. I did that. I smashed through that. Now I've got a warehouse. Everybody thinks it's stupid to go into the warehouse. Smash through that, and I'm gunning for it. And everyone tells me I'm stupid, that I'm going to get limited.
The one thing I find funny is when people tell you to get a real job, like this isn't a real job, like we don't actually work or something. I'll get a real job. Go work in Tesco's or something. Like, okay, I'll go work there for like £6 an hour, should I? Instead of like working for myself. Like, my own hours. I can't get fired. I can sleep in. You know, I can have a poo with my trousers off and my shirt off if I want or something. No one's going to walk in.
I'm lining my own pockets. Well, I'm not lining my own pockets. I'm building something that's bigger than me. And although that I believe that I'm worth a good amount per hour, if I was to go and work for myself, if I had to pay myself, I'd like to say I'm worth £100 an hour or whatever.
Jesus.
I still would pay myself £2 an hour because that's the minimum I need. In 10 years' time, I'm going to be retired at 40, living in Texas. I don't care.
Shakira and Jennifer Lopez. It might have been the year before then. I don't know why I would watch Shakira shaking her hips.
I'm like the opposite from Joe. I don't have any ambitions to have a £10 million company or whatever. I'm just happy having a lifestyle business that I can work at home, do my own thing, and don't have to go and work for somebody else.
I think most resellers are like that, to be honest.
And earn a fair wage. I'm not worried about earning 200 grand a year or whatever. If I can earn a fair wage, buy our house. I mean, I owned a house before we sold it. We moved. We're renting. We're going to buy again. Maybe next year. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm all right.
I don't mean it like as in like I work really hard. I put a lot of hours in, and it is a hard job. I don't care what anybody says. Reselling is a hard job. The amount of knowledge you need to know, the amount of work you actually have to put in, it is a hard job. And I just want it to pay off for me one day, where I can turn around at 40 and retire, stick everything into a high interest bank or into houses what I could rent out, and live off of that. Like it's not going to be millions and millions of pounds a year. It might be like millions of pounds there in one big wad. That'll be stuck into a bank account where it's not going to get touched, and you just live off the interest.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be like a greedy little millionaire. But I'll stick it into a bank and live off of the interest. And then when I die, my kids can have that money and do whatever they want with it.
The thing is, you'll still see a boot sale on, and you'll still want to stop and go and have a look what they got, surely.
That's it, yeah.
They don't have boot sales in Texas.
They have
flea market.
Flea
markets, and they have what's it called? Estate sales and stuff.
But that's
garage sales.
Antique malls and yeah, I think a lot of resellers are just people that don't like working for other people. Like, I can't stand working for someone. I just don't get on with like the like structure of actual regular normal work. I guess normal work. I'd rather work for myself, and when I want a raise, I can work a little bit harder for it. I don't have to wait 3 years to get 50p extra an hour. So yeah. I don't think I could ever go back.
I've only got one goal at the moment, and that is to get back on the property ladder, which we're going to do at our earliest opportunity. Because at the moment we're renting, so as soon as we get the opportunity to rebuy again, because we made quite a bit of money on our last house sale. We bought low, we sold high, so that's all in the bank, waiting to be deposited down on the next house. But when you're fairly new, self-employed, you ain't getting a mortgage for at least 2 years.
Five.
So
you need
that's my initial goal.
You need 3 years of books, don't you?
Some mortgage companies will actually take 1 year. I think Halifax were doing 1 year, but you'll pay for it in interest. It'll be a higher interest rate.
Yeah.
They're very nervous at the moment.
The housing market might just collapse, and then you might be able to get somewhere cheaper.
This is the thing that we're thinking at the moment. It's that we don't know where the housing market is going, and once all this COVID thing is over, once all the special offers with your interest rates on houses and your the stamp duties and that, once all that's over with,
yeah,
housing market might stall, and then there could be some bargains to have.
That's it.
That's my only goal at the moment. Get back on the property ladder.
My plan: stay under 85k turnover with as low expenses, high profit margins as possible. That's what I do. Most of my sales are 10 times what I pay for them in general. Total bills every month, including mortgage, food, running 2 cars, which I own 1,200 a month. Debt free is key. Yeah. Yep. I would love to like have a mortgage.
I've got my I've got letters coming through my post about my ex's debts, all of her debts. I've got all of these letters coming through say that, like, and I'm like, nope, nothing to do with me. I'm refusing to pay for any of it. So I'm currently trying to deal with that. I'm not in any debt. I don't have debt. I have PayPal credit, but that's only to increase my credit score, because I used a PayPal credit to increase my credit score. That's it.
The good thing about like a crash in the housing market is if you get a mortgage like during the crash, like in like 2 or 3 years after that, you're paying a mortgage on a house that's skyrocketed in price. You're making money every month, technically, when you cash out, if you ever sell it. Like you could buy a house like for 100 grand, and then like 4 years later it'd be like 150 grand. You've made like however much every year. So that's good. M says, I work as a reseller because of a medical condition that stops me from working, but a lot of my family say it's not a real job. I'll never get anywhere with it, but I'm just doing fine at the moment. Yeah.
Good on you.
People just don't understand. Like, my brother laughed at me, like, you'll never make as much as me doing plumbing. And now I'm earning more than he does doing plumbing. Well, near enough.
See, I don't earn more than anyone. I literally am less than minimum wage. That's because that's what I choose. The less I give myself, the more my company could grow.
Yep. That's because you don't cash out.
Have you got a mortgage already, Joe?
No, I rent.
You plan on getting one?
I plan to buy a house outright once I sell my company.
I was going to say, because
when you get your 7 mil,
if you don't pay yourself, if you don't show profits on your accounts and you don't pay yourself enough money, you'll never be able to prove yourself to get a mortgage. It's a bit vicious for a while.
I don't need one. I literally just.
That's fine. If you don't want one, that's fine.
I do want to move house though. We want to get a different house.
Will you be able to do that though if you're not paying yourself? Like even renting, you have to be able to prove.
Pay myself more. Let's just say I'm moving. I'll pay myself another £1,000 to go and move because I need that money. I literally pay myself what I need. It doesn't matter if I need 50 quid, and then that's what I pay myself. If I need 2 grand, then that's what I pay myself.
Yeah.
As long as profit there to use.
I think
to myself, I'll end up paying it for new equipment, new stock, or taxes. It gets paid on something.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is when I get to a certain point, I'm just going to move, because where I am right now, it's so expensive to live. Like it's probably like one of the most expensive areas, Surrey. Just right outside of London, basically. Like I'll get to London and went about an hour on a train or something, so it's proper expensive. But it's crazy. Like I'll be on Facebook and it'll be like advertising like a 4-bedroom house like up north for like £500 a month, and I'm just like, what? That's like £1,600 a month down there. It's like I could get that £500 a month. It can't be that different sourcing that far up north compared to down here. It might be a little bit different, but it can't be that much different.
I think we could It's difficult, more difficult for Joe because he's got his business premises, he's got his, his offices and all that stuff. A little bit more complicated, but for anyone working from home as a reseller, or even have like a storage unit, you could do it anywhere in the country.
That's it. I could pick it. I
moved from Manchester down to Devon, and God knows where we'll end up next. But I'm happy to do it wherever.
So the way I see it is, when you look at people like George Ross, his storage unit costs more than my warehouse. Why would you live in an area like that when you the size of that storage unit's the size of this bedroom where I started. Do you know what I mean? I just don't feel like there's a place to grow at a place like that. Whereas down here in Devon, I've got no problem finding stock. I've got no problem storing stock, and I've got a nice big warehouse that I'm paying peanuts for.
That's it. It's all about like location, like Life Redefined says in chat. It's all about location for sure. Just think like how much money. Like if I moved up north, you'd save way like on your rent or whatever. You'd save so much more money that can then get reinvested in other stuff. Like you could buy an extra couple pallets a month with that saving, and then that's exponential growth on its own. Like the reinvestment. So
I think if I had a big enough, I've said this to Annabelle over the last few days, I've been looking at these, but if I had a big enough garden and I owned the property, you can get converted storage units.
Like
you can literally have them. A 40-foot container, get it cladded, converted inside, plumbed in. It's a permanent fixture. You can use it as your storage and office, so it's outside of your house. Literally, if your garden's big enough, you could get one of these. About 10 grand it'd cost you. Fully kitted out unit. And can you imagine like how much money after about 3 years it's paid for itself storage wise? Then you are home free after that.
See, I was thinking of
office, storage, the lot.
I was thinking of doing something similar, but I was thinking about getting like a tiny plot, well not tiny, but a little plot of land for quite cheap that you can just put like a storage unit like that on. And then, like, I don't know, maybe have another one that you can convert into a living space, or just get like a one of those static caravans you can put there, because they're always going cheap. Like, because I think caravan sites
planning permission and everything like that. If you're living there, you need to pay.
Well, you just have to get the grid and all of that sorted out. It's a bit expensive, but it's cheaper than building. And you can stack those units as well, so you can put one on top, which could be your office. You put a staircase. They do little staircases that go up the sides. And
if you do go above a certain height, that's when you need permission to do it.
Especially if you I think you'd probably get away with a standard one in your garden because it's probably not much, different. You probably have to do your checks. You might have to get some level of permission, but they're not that high.
Yeah.
So you might get away with one on your own property. That's food for thought. Literally, you can pick up a fully converted sort of unit, 40-foot storage unit, and it looks amazing. Seriously, just go on eBay, converted storage units. There's tons of them. People even buy them. You can operate an Airbnb out of one with a bed, a shower, a bath, the whole lot. You can literally operate an Airbnb out of one and have private access, rent it out in your garden, basically.
You could go 3 high. You could have storage on the bottom, office in the middle, house on the top.
You live next door to that, you are pissed off, aren't you?
And then you could get one of those slides.
You got no light coming into your garden.
Get a slide. Get a slide or a fireman's pole, and that's your way out of it.
Every time a storm rolls in, you're shitting yourself, aren't you?
Right. Well, we've been live for about 2 hours, so I'll probably say that's gone quick actually. 2 hours. Well, 1 minute and 57 seconds we've been live, so 2 hours. You guys got anything else before we call it an evening?
I'm ready to go to bed, to be honest.
You tired, are you? Okay.
I'm sleeping on the sofa in a minute because Lauren can't make it up the stairs.
Oh.
So I'm staying on the sofa with her.
You should have taken the bed downstairs then. What are you doing?
I'm not doing that. Not doing that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Thank you all for coming and watching today's show. If you haven't already, do subscribe to Carboot. Chris, do you want to put your link in the? Are you able to do that, or do you want me to try and find?
It's fine. They can find me. Cooking the Hayden.
As you leave, to smash that thumbs up button.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows who you are anyway at this point. But if not, you can find him at Cookie and Hayden on YouTube. And Joe is a closet geek, but you know, no one wants to subscribe to him, so don't worry about that. Next week we do have the guy from eBay Gum, like we were talking about before. So tune in for that if you want to learn any more. We will be asking the tough questions.
He's coming on your channel, is he? He's coming on your channel. eBay Gum. You're joking, aren't you?
eBay Gum guy. eBay Gum guy. Tongue twister.
And quick one, guys, if you've got any questions that you want as a reseller to ask him, please put it in the Discord. If you don't know where Discord is, click on the link below in the description. I'm sure it's in there. Just go in the Discord, put your questions in the Discord. We'll put them aside and we will ask them during the stream.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.